Oh, that makes me think. Please
Well, don't do
silence
it.
your cell phones.
There's they're going off.
Last time I didn't silence my own.
And
I
we're
can't even
That's
silence
live.
new.
mine, so I think we're safe.
Welcome, wonderful people of the internet, to World Health Day meditation at Prism Club in Incredible Worlds with the wonderful and lovely OlySounds. Woo!
Yes. Hello. Happy Health Day. Happy World Health Day. Happy Easter. We're here in Incredible Worlds Meditation Gazebo to talk about health. We're going to meditate on health and the ego and what it means to us. And also Tom Cruise. Just kidding. We're not going to meditate on Tom Cruise.
Woo!
Next
Tom
time.
Cruise, baby.
Hey, Tom Cruise, ego and health goes all good together.
All is one. So I want to ask you guys, what comes to your mind when you hear the word ego? I know there's a lot of different connotations, and I want to kind of talk a little bit about the traditional psychology viewpoint of it. I don't pretend to be a mental health professional at all. I just like to share what I've learned from professionals, but do your own research and let's go. Ultra, what do you think when I say the word ego?
Well,
What do you think it is?
when you say the word ego, the first thing that comes to my mind is like a planet. Like in Marvel, they had this villain called Ego, the living planet, and he was a planet, but in his core there was light. So it's like a shell. Like the planet was like a shell surrounding his core. So he was like a living embodiment of what the ego is. So that's what I kind of think about when I think of ego. I think of kind of a protective shell separating the light of consciousness from the world. So it creates the illusion of separation.
That's cool. So it's like a vehicle in a way, a vehicle for consciousness to move around this reality.
Yeah, I think like a weapon in a sense, like a tank. Yeah, like a vehicle.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, for Blast, what do you think about the word ego?
I think ego is more or less just the awareness of self. Like the more you're concentrated on your ego, the more self-centered you are, and the more concentrated you are on your own environment, your own circumstances, your own perception of reality. So I think it's just your ego is just your perception of yourself. I believe. I think that's what it is. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's good. We'll skip Pax, who has a microphone on his avatar, but not IRL, and go to Crazy
Aw.
Nikki. Nikki, what do you think about ego?
Hmm. Ego for me is that you should have a little bit of it and let go of that. Let go of too much ego. So to say that self-awareness that you have for yourself, that self-love, that's the healthy kind of ego. But the unhealthy kind of ego of being narcissistic and thinking about yourself before others in a negative way. So that's what I mean. If you take the good parts of ego, that's healthy, but the bad parts, just eliminate them completely. That's how I see ego.
That's cool. Yeah,
I think that too.
me too. Archer, what do you think about ego?
Actually, it's very interesting to listen to what you guys thought about it because for me it's a bit different, and I think it's kind of embedded in our I don't know, like Western culture, I guess. I don't know. It's just to me when I hear ego, somehow it has a and I'm now realizing that's wrong actually, but it has quite a more negative effect than a positive one, right? Because whenever you always constantly hear, oh, someone has a huge ego, and you know the ego is too big, and all this, and kind of it's more or less in the last, I don't know, 15 years, it's kind of like getting more embedded in a negative way. But as I think about it right now, I think it's super important to obviously not have a you can have as big ego as you want unless you don't hurt other people. And I think having an ego is a very important thing because it pushes you to achieve more. It pushes you to be, to think about what you will achieve in life. And again, if you don't hurt other people and you want to achieve more and you want to be better and you want to, to be best in whatever you do, that is a positive kind of ego. The only thing which you should not um, kind of cherish is the ego which puts just yourself um, and hurts others and puts yourself bigger than others. I mean, you can be bigger than others, but you should not hurt other people, or you should try not to hurt other people. If you can do that, you can have as big ego as you want, in my opinion. And again, I'm just realizing it in real time because when you asked the question, I was like, "What's ego?" And only negative things came up in my mind, and I asked myself, "Why?
Mm.
Why is it like that?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that." So yeah, don't hurt other people. Try to be mindful about other people, and then you can have as big as ego if you want. There's nothing wrong to try to be the best in what you do and in life. That's not. It's actually that's how it should be.
Boom.
Yeah, that's so true.
Big drop.
Isn't
That's
true?
ego.
That's
I hope I
interesting you
didn't
say it
hurt
like
anyone
that.
while dropping the.
Yeah. So that's what you said is kind of like what Freud said a little bit, which is what I wanted to talk about in regards to ego with psychology, traditional psychology and the mental health field. They see it as, your identity and kind of your vehicle to move through this reality and how you present yourself and your personality. And then there are two other parts of the psyche that Freud talks about. It's the superego and then the id. So those are often symbolized as... Oh wait, bio's right there. Bio! I didn't see you. I just saw your little bunny ears. You're the Easter mascot. You need to tell us what you think of ego first.
I'm kind of strange when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I went to college and um, I went for psychology, took the psychology class. I got like a really, really bad grade on it and stuff. But I, li- I liked learning about it, and I think you learn more about it through actual life than you do through like textbooks and stuff like that. You know, I mean, everything can be broken down into its smallest form, though. Like, if you look at ego, it's EGO, right? E could be like electronic. G could be like go or God, or but if you go to O, it could be like overly. So it could be like Arthur was talking about, like you could overdo your ego, or you could underdo your ego. But everything should correlate like that in reality, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
that's
love how you speak
interesting.
that your bunny ears go with you. It's very... Love it.
That's dope. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Electronic God overly. It's interesting. I've never heard that before, but that's very cool and original. So Freud actually talked about the superego, id, and ego, right? And the ego is this personality that can have so many connotations, and everybody has a different way of presenting themselves and relating to everyone else. But ideally, we want to leave as much, as little damage as possible when we, move through this world and leave as much positive impact as possible. Most people. So the superego and id are often depicted as like the angel on the shoulder, that's superego, and then the devil on the shoulder, that's id. Freud said the angel on the shoulder, superego, is our ideal selves, our higher selves, our moral compass, who we want to be. And when having a balanced ego, you don't want to completely go to that super ego side, or you'll have a very weak identity. You'll be very easily manipulated. You'll have very little energy. And you can also be overly strict and operate based on dogma, and that's not always sustainable to, making a positive impact on society. So you don't want too much or too little of that. And then with the devil on the shoulder, the id, that's more of our will. That's our wants and our instincts, animal instincts, and too much of that can lead to overconsumption and getting what you want at all costs, no matter who you hurt, no matter what happens to yourself even. But too little of that, it doesn't give you much energy to follow your own dreams or acknowledge just your own biology. So according to Freud, the healthy mind acknowledges all these parts and finds ways to integrate them into the ego. Because when you suppress them, they tend to get a little bit stronger and grow, into your subconscious as kind of like this angry, ignored child that, so that's not good either. But, you don't want to be too self-aware either, whereas, you're so introverted you can't relate to anyone around you either. So it's a very fine line, right? And meditation, what it does, it helps us observe these parts of our psyche without judgment, so we can acknowledge that they're there and feed them energy and awareness without forcing anything. And they kind of naturally just become friends with each other, if that makes sense. But without awareness, yeah, Ultra?
So, what's the difference between the ego and the self?
I think the self is like a healthy self would be all of these things working together, all these sides of the psyche. And I know there's so much more than just what Freud said, it goes in depth, but I think it's just a integrated psyche, an integrated ego, superego, and id. You're using all your knowledge, all your instincts for the good of society, for the good of yourself, right? And ego wouldn't really be yourself, because sometimes an unhealthy ego, you could be operating as this personality that completely contradicts your instincts or completely contradicts your own morals, So that wouldn't even be yourself, even though that's how you're presenting yourself.
So it's like a mask of
know?
the ego?
I don't
to,
know.
Like, cover the
Yeah,
self?
that's, I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's like that. What do you guys think?
What about if your ego is confused and that you think you're doing the right thing and you think you're doing everything good for humanity, and you're actually twisted and evil, and you're doing
But who is the judge? Who is the one
History.
that decides
Well,
what is good,
History is
what
the
is bad?
judge.
victims.
History, yeah.
Victims are the
Who's-
judge.
Victims, but that's the problem with humanity in general, because there are things which are absolutely black and white, that's obvious, and there are things which are not. And then when it's black and white, it's pretty easy to understand what is good and what is bad. When the lines are kind of blurred, that's where you have one group believing one is good and another group believing another good, and another thing. So that's where I think that's where actually having too much ego is a bad thing, because if you don't have too much ego, you are able to listen while you are even disagreeing. Being
How
able
much
to
does
debate,
projection have to do
no,
with
but
it?
being
though?
able to debate
Projection?
someone and to talk to someone while you disagree with the person and have a civil conversation, it's a gift. it's something which needs to be taught at schools, which, that's why debate classes are important. That's why having conversations is important, because otherwise we'll just close ourselves into echo chambers and never talk to each other again, and only, throw stones at each other and say how others are bad. But in the end of the day, even if you're identifying as one group, you definitely have a lot of beliefs from, from the people with other group. You have a lot of things in common. We're human beings. We have a lot of things in common, much more than we think. And it's just our inability or non-willingness to listen. It's causes a lot of problems. So yeah, I think don't try to don't try to view the world as black and white. Try to view the world as a fluid, moving thing, and try to view people like that. Because again, whenever someone says, like, obviously, again, when someone says it's an absolute, like, crazy stuff, I don't even consider that. But what I'm saying is, when someone says something I consider I disagree with, and that's someone I respect, for example, I start to think, okay, why is he saying that? What leads this person to believe this? And I want to know more. I genuinely want to know more. I want to talk to this person. I want to learn what kind of thought process led to this. And I hope the same comes to him or her when I say something, and they would listen and say, hey, actually, why you think so? And I think in the middle somewhere is the truth, and that's beautiful. So yeah.
I have something
And
I'd like to
Yeah,
add
too much ego,
to
you
that.
will not be able to listen.
So I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I find that like most of the time we look at the world, yeah, we're in trouble, right? So most of the time we look at the world as like, good and evil and stuff. But if you break it down to instead protagonist and antagonist, it starts like having this like, starts making a bit more sense. Like you remove that whole moral righteousness from it, and then you start looking at the whole situation as just that. You have a protagonist and you have an antagonist in like everything.
Yeah, like cause and effect kind of,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all anything really is at the base, it's energy and survival instinct and, so I think to answer what Archer or what Woofer said, how do you know if your ego is healthy or not? I think you have to have awareness, which you can exercise through things like meditation, and you need to be aware of your environment, those around you, how you're affecting them.
Yeah.
You need to be aware of yourself, how you're affecting yourself. So, of course, we're never going to be perfect. Things aren't black and white. Where a lot of us are wrong in a lot of ways. A lot of us are right in a lot of ways. Like there's really all we can do is do our best for survival and community and our own health,
I
right?
think I also think
Imagine
that
if the
how
mass
many
gets so much though, like everybody becomes part of this greater mass of consciousness. How that's going to affect our reality as a whole is what's really
Really beautiful.
interesting.
Beautiful.
I'm sure to all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all
They
gonna
say
thrive.
energy. Have you guys ever seen I think it's in Thailand, maybe India somewhere, but they do like these large group meditations, and a lot of people around the world participate, and it's like the most people at once meditating together. And they say statistically there's less crime, there's less, globally, there are less natural disasters, less, violence. A bunch of crazy stuff happens. All the numbers go down when people are just sitting and being conscious and just being large groups
So
at once. It's pretty crazy.
what
I don't
I'm
know
getting
what
from like what you're
it's
saying is
called.
that there's objective good and evil. That there are things that people do that are evil, that create chaos in the world. Crime, killing each other, those are objectively evil. And do you think it's like that? I mean, when we meditate and all these good things happen, right?
Well, it's
What
subjectively
if we work
good.
on more of like a gradient, like rather than just being one pole or another pole, you know, positive or
Hmm.
negative? What if it was like more of a gradient or an analog system to where it's not just completely one way or another? They kind of work together towards, but
Yeah,
against each other
Yeah.
and then together and then against
turning
each
these
other.
abstract ideas
Yeah.
into some type of concrete object is boggling my mind.
I I think when people get together in large groups like that and meditate, they're naturally thinking good things because they want good things for themselves,
So there's
and
an
it just sort of
objective good
connects.
that,
Well,
like for
yeah,
example, God is
just
good,
a
right?
general well-being. Well, you're just thinking
Yeah, well-being and survival are
you want to be
measurement
well,
points, I think.
you want to live, you want to eat, you want to pay your rent, you want to do good things for your kids. You want
Hmm.
these good things. You don't want bad things for yourself. So you're thinking about that, and there's all these hundreds or thousands of people thinking the same thing, and you sort of get on the same wavelength.
Yeah, it's like a
And I believe
species
that when
thing.
people get to, yeah, I believe when people get together in groups like that, you can actually telepathically sort of link together. And if you're all thinking of your well-being and you're thinking good, it can sort of spread. I think and you can affect each other. I
Oh,
think
for
that
sure.
it's
Hmm.
really
Energy,
possible.
energy
You know,
matters.
stress can make you sick. Stress can make you sick. So why
Yeah.
can't
Sure.
good energy and positive thoughts make you healthy?
Yeah.
Also, I
Yeah,
would
that
say
makes
that
sense.
when people gather like this, we generally as human beings, we generally feel ourselves very comfortable around people who don't want anything from us particularly, or like something, like if you're on a same understanding of and level of understanding of things, like if you are kind of connected but you are not dependent on each other in a bad or good way, like in both. I'm not meaning it in any way, but like if you're just relaxed, like those people who are meditating together, they have one cause, but they don't know each other, like they're not connected in any other way, they're not related, and they don't need to think about all this complex that's why life in offices
Hmm.
it sucked in big corporations, because there's all those people who are like intrigues and other things, and like and for people that's kind of not healthy at all. Some people like it, but majority of people don't. And I think when people meet and they're not, they just meet to meditate together. They don't want anything else from each other. They just want to meditate. I think that's where people feel relaxed. They feel like they
Hmm.
can just be themselves and not be pushed to be someone else. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely
It's
very healthy.
healthy energy. I like what
Yeah.
you said, like about the middle ground when it comes to the polarities. Like, that's kind of what I see meditation as. It's a middle ground where you try to reach this state of neutrality. And it doesn't necessarily mean that's how you operate in the world. You're not neutral to everything. But
You can't be pushed
it's a
around.
practice, you're exercising that muscle. So sometimes when you are relating to someone else and they say something you don't like, that's really against your morals or really against your needs and your instincts, it can hurt really badly. And sometimes it's necessary to react, but sometimes it's not. So what meditation does, for me at least, it helps me know what I should react to and what I shouldn't, what doesn't need a reaction, when I'm actually in danger or when I'm, totally safe
Yeah.
and should allow someone to express
What what what
themselves,
what life taught me is not to overreact on things. Like because there's a saying we said in the past, like we say, like you know the I don't know if you say in the U.S. like this or in English, but it goes like something like the morning is more smart than the evening. Um, so basically, like letting things go and think about it twice and three times before replying to something. Like that's why social media are so harmful in many ways, because it you know
Mm-hmm.
you they want you to react immediately.
Yeah.
They want you to react in this kind of affection. They want you to react and get into this battles of words, and this is a not healthy, B, that's not truly you. You know, it doesn't bring good in anything. So I think that's kind of where I think the social media are actually harming a lot the society
It's like they're
in the
training
way they're
people.
built today. And that's why, again, not an intentional plug, but that's why I love Authenticity, is because when you write something there, you know it's forever. Like, you can't delete it. You literally can't get rid of it. So you better think twice. First of all, it costs money to post, and also you can delete it. So it's kind of like two things which will really make you think about writing something. But yeah, generally social media, like the reaction time of social media, just accelerates. I don't think it accelerates the best out of people. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
just
reminded
think.
of a saying. It's better to respond than react. You know, you think when you respond, but when you
Oh, that's very
react,
smart. Yes,
it's
very,
like it's not.
I think what
very
we
smart.
say is sleep on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sleep on exactly. Sleep on it.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Arthur. I never even thought about that. It's like they're training people to become reactionary to everything. And when people become
Yeah,
Or
reactionary,
we're
it's like
training
instant.
they can be
ourselves by,
pushed around.
Yeah.
That's where the projection comes
you
in.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're training ourselves, self-programming over and over with these confirmation biases of our feed, our algorithm, what we enjoy, without seeing anyone opposed to us ever. So it's not, I don't think it's intentional necessarily. It could be. I'm sure a lot of people want to convince people and radicalize people, but I think most of us are unconsciously programming ourselves. So if we consciously program ourselves to be at peace with everyone, and like that has so much power. So it doesn't matter who's trying to program us if we know how to
I think
program
it's
ourselves,
business
right?
model flawed. Like, the business models are broken, and that's what I was talking about. Like, in World Economic Forum call, like, you you can't have, if the company earns money from your attention, that's really bad. Like, your attention should not be commodity. Your output should be commodity, not your attention. Your quality of your
Interesting.
words, quality of your work, quality of your content, quality of your attention should be the commodity, but not your attention itself, and you self as a commodity. So I think that's the biggest problem that
Can you
we
explain?
allow as a
Sorry, I don't understand what you mean with
Does
the.
it?
yeah. So when these algorithms are, or these companies are working, or living from selling you ads. More people see ads, more they earn money. The more time you spend scrolling the feed, the more money they make. Now that's your attention, and you are being a commodity. Your attention is a commodity. They sell minutes spent on
It's being
platform.
carved up.
That's what they care about. And once you start caring about that, you want people to be sitting there more and more. And how do you do that? That's where the algorithm come in to keep you in your loop, to keep you in this bubble where you only see things you like. You know, you get likes from people which like your content, but you're liking their content, and it's kind of like a spiral which keeps you in the loop of these things. You don't, because when are you nervous? You're nervous when when your worldviews are getting challenged.
Yeah.
Boom! Once your worldview is challenged, you're like, I don't want to Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
I go. I mean, what is this guy? Stupid guy. Why he's writing this? I mean, who is this guy? I don't know. I don't care. Boom. You get angry. You go. But that's what they don't want. They want you to stay. So that's a business model flaw. It should not be like that. The smart business model should encourage you as a human being to create great content, quality content, and also to let others support and consume your content. But direct support should be the way how it goes. And then the company should take transaction fees from every time someone supports each other. But you should not be the product. The product should be your quality content. And that is a big difference. Like, that's a big shift. It's the same in Somnium, right? We're not selling your data. You are not the product. We don't care about who you are, what you do. But if you create an amazing world like this, and you put a lot of time in this, you should probably be rewarded for that. But this is your content. You created this content. So I think it's in many cases, if you look at any game with kids, for example, right? Games which kids are playing, again, they're being trained to spend money, and they want their attention, and they want their money, and things like that. That's a bad business model right out of the bat. absolutely bad business, and it should not be allowed. Actually, these types of business models should not be allowed, because otherwise, of course, company will want to maximize profits. Of course, they want. The moment you allow them to do that, they will do everything they can to maximize the every bits of a profit. I mean, I don't blame them, but I also blame them because they like there is no stupid person in any company like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Roblox or any company who are saying like, oh, we actually earn money on kids. Oh my God, we didn't know. Oh, we actually earn money on your attention. Oh my God, sir, I don't know. How is it possible? How did it happen? I don't know. Sorry. Of course they know it. They know exactly what they're doing, but they continue to do it. So I think, yeah, just pushing and okay, if governments are not doing it, then we as consumers, we should push the companies. We should vote with our time. We should not use and encourage. Like I don't use Instagram anymore. I use it only when I post for Somnium, but the rest I just don't use it. I don't post on Instagram. And honestly, trust me, it's the best. Like I don't wanna spend this time just using it for nothing. What do I get from it? What is the point? So, yeah, I think business model has to be transparent. So every company has to publish exactly how they earn money, and every consumer has to understand how they are earning money. That's it. End of rant.
I just started using Instagram again recently, and the first thing I see is hundreds of photos of these people, these celebrities and sports people, and it says interested or not interested, interested or not interested, and I haven't heard of any of them. I don't know any of them.
Yeah, but that's the way to keep you in. Yeah, that's the way how to.
I
hook
spend
you up.
hours going not interested, not interested, not
Yeah, but
interested, not interested.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Why would you do
Okay.
it? Why would you spend hours? Why would you give them? You feed their algorithm with the valuable information,
know.
and you get nothing out of it. You get nothing. You just
That's
get
true.
nothing out of it. It's an absolute chaos with what these companies are doing, and Instagram and TikTok in Western countries is the worst out of the worst. Like Facebook and Twitter, like Twitter is seemingly getting better, but still it's kind of like the same loop, blah blah blah. So I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, this is just you waste of time. It is waste of time, and if you want to have, that's why AI is actually really good as well. Like this chatbots, the new ones. It's because it allows you to get the information you need while cutting out of all the noise. How cool is this? Like you're going straight to the information without all the need of hearing everything else and all the noise and all the ads. You're just going to the source of information. And if you don't like the source, or if you think it's not correct, you search again. But like you are in the source, you're away from that. That's why I like it. But I'm just saying, don't spend time on too much time on Instagram. It's not
Yeah,
healthy.
I'm not
like,
going
it
to.
literally is not healthy.
I think you can let tools use you, or you can use the tools.
But wait, you're too
That's
quiet.
one thing.
Yeah, preach,
What happened,
Oli.
Oli?
Don't become a tool for the tools.
Don't become a tool. I think
Something happened to
you.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Bit
You
quieter,
can
but
use your tools, or you can let them use you. So there's benefits and harm to everything. But I think when you know yourself, like awareness, when you're integrated, which we're gonna try to do in the next 15 minutes with a little meditation. I think you have a lot of power and diminish any, harmful things that can come at you from outside of you, know thyself. That's the ultimate power. I think you would know this, Ultra. It's a quote that's Marcus Aurelius, I think he says, who knows who really said it first, but it's watch out for someone who can conquer others, but someone who has conquered himself, you won't even see them coming. Something like that. Like
Yeah, it
that,
sounds like Alexander
when
the
you
Great.
conquer yourself,
Yeah, conquer yourself and
Alexander the
you'll
Great,
conquer the world. Yeah.
something like that. So I want you guys to just take a moment. Let's get a little bit introspective here. Just observe how you feel. Observe your body. Is there tightness anywhere? Is there heat anywhere? Are you feeling cold? And try to observe without any judgment. Just watch your breath. You don't need to change it. Just observe how your breath goes in and out of your body. Does your chest rise on your inhale? Is your breathing shallow? Or is it deep? Just watch your breath. Are you breathing through your nose? Are you breathing through your mouth? How does your throat feel? Is your throat dry? Is it tight? Is it relaxed? Just breathe, just be. And try focusing on your breath, and if any thoughts come up, don't try to shoo them away. Just observe. Let them come and go. And try to bring yourself back to your breath gently. Now I want you to visualize a symbol. It can be a shape, like a circle or a square. It can be flowers. The silhouette of a flower with its petals and a circle in the center. Notice if your shape is a color. Maybe it's blue. Maybe it's red. Maybe it's a lot of different colors together, a pattern. Notice if the shape is moving at all, or if it's perfectly still. Now I want you to picture an infinity symbol, a figure 8. And Just make sure that you're still breathing, not holding your breath, not judging any sensations or thoughts that come up. Just gently bring yourself back to this shape, this infinity symbol. With this infinity symbol in front of you, I want you to picture one little dot anywhere on it. Like a point on a line. Like a car on a track. And just observe this little point and picture it moving slowly as you possibly can along this infinity sign. Around each of the two sides, slowly going up, going down. Going to the middle, intersection. And just watch as this little point moves. And notice your breath. Do you inhale as the point goes around the sides, rising or falling? Do you exhale when you go through the intersection in the middle? Just observe and visualize. This point that you watch move through infinity represents you, your ego, your spirit and identity, moving through infinity. Wherever you are on the infinity symbol, I want you to bless it. Just send good energy towards yourself. I want you to bless the symbol that's guiding you through time, through infinity. Just take a deep breath in. Let go of the visualization. You can shake out your fingers, wiggle your toes, nod your head, flutter your eyes open. Exhale, just let it all go. One more breath in. And hold it. And just thank yourself for taking this time Just exhale and let go. However you move through the world, I just want you to know that you're doing a perfect job. You're perfect the way you are. You're more than enough. All you have to do is be you, and everything else will follow. I know personally all you guys are amazing people, and I thank you so much for being here with me today. This was so fun. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Easter. Some of you are about to go to sleep. I think World Health Day was actually 2 days ago, but
We made it.
maybe we can celebrate all week.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate all week and just take good care of yourselves. And everyone else.
Yeah. Woo. Oh, you guys are back. Thank God.
Thank you
Didn't know
guys.
how long I could protect your bodies for. While you went to the astral
Love you
plane.
so much.
Amazing. You're really, really.
You guys are
You have a
amazing.
talent for this, for many things. For this, for sure, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Oli.
Thank you, Oli, and thank you, wonderful viewers of the internet and people of the world. Thanks for coming to Oli's Meditation Health Day celebration at Incrediworlds. Give it up to Oli, the wonderful purveyor of the astral plane. Woo! Thank you for hosting this meditation session for us, Oli. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And remember, everyone,
Let go of my ego.
God doesn't burden you with things you can't bear. Love you guys.
Yay. Voice meter word.